Ginger here. Today we are covering my top self-help picture books. Disclaimer, I am not a licensed therapist. If you need help, please seek help, professional help. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Don't forget the bell in the corner. And let's get right to it. This is in no particular order, but the first one I'm going to cover is I Can Do Hard Things. This is by Gabby Garcia, illustrated by Charity Russell. This book covers a full range of topics, but basically it's trying to give children confidence. At the back of the book, there is a section that actually defines mindful affirmations and then helps a child choose which mindful affirmation would be best for them, and then even encourages the child to write their own. Illustrations are great, variety of people, definitely a ton of different ethnicities, and I know that and abilities even. Let me see. We've got a Muslim here who's great. I mean, I love diversity. Absolutely love diversity. That is a win. But this really is encouraging to kids, and I think that if this is the sort of thing that you like with the diversity, and if you have something that needs to be done that is hard to do, like speaking out in class or something like that, this would be perfect. It's not a picture book, it's not a story book. It is a picture book, there's lots of pictures, but it's not a story. There's not like one character that goes through. It's just more of a different affirmations that you can say and keep in mind while you are struggling through tough times. It also has a little suggestion at the end for breathing exercises and things like that. Listening to your body and how to listen to your inner voice, and to have the courage to follow that inner voice. I'm gonna do Otis and the Tornado next. Otis and the Tornado. And this is by Lauren Long. I chose this one because it's got a few valuable points. One, it's great for kids that are scared of natural disasters. It can explain and enforce ideas of what we do when a natural disaster is coming. So that is why I really like Otis and the Tornado. It also has a little side theme of friendship and making new friends and maintaining those new friends and rescuing those new friends. It has a story, so it's not like the previous book that didn't have a story. This one definitely has a story, and I'm sure you can even find fun activities to do with this, because the kids play, or the animals and the tractor, they play follow the leader, and it's very gentle and yet exciting at the same time with the tornado. And the bull, who is kind of a bully, and actually becomes friends at the end, which makes this book make my list. Alright, so I had to put this one on here. It is The Little Old Lady Who Was Not Afraid of Anything. Now this one, oh my goodness, it's just so charming, especially if you like Halloween themed, which I love Halloween themed things. But she's a little old lady, and she's going through the forest collecting, I believe, herbs. Probably herbs. She's foraging. She's foraging through the forest. And she sees a pair of gloves, and they clap at her. Disembodied gloves. And she says, "I'm not afraid of you, gloves." But we know she's kind of afraid, because she starts picking up her pace a little bit. And so she goes through all of the different parts of a scarecrow. And then at the end, they show up at her house, because she runs home and locks the door, and then they knock on her door, and she opens up, and she says, "I'm not scared of you." And she talks to the scarecrow, and then she puts the scarecrow in her yard, and uses the Scarecrow, or hires the Scarecrow to be her scarecrow for her garden. So it's adorable, it is interactive, it is really, really, really sweet. And anything else I can say? Like when you are talking about bravery to your child, you can always bring up the little old lady who wasn't scared of anything, and she is completely memorable. Now this one is by Linda Williams, and it's illustrated by Megan Lloyd, and it is just a huge win because it's so memorable. So you can just go back and say, remember that little old lady? Yeah, well, was she scared? Well, what did she do? She used her words and she talked to this scarecrow. I mean, he is a scarecrow. He's a jack-o'-lantern headed creature that makes sounds. So it hits so many marks. You've got the mark on how noises can be frightening for kids. You've got the mark of how different things can be scary, like things that you don't know, that are unknown. And it's just very, very catchy and memorable. And it's actually interactive because you can clap your hands along and you can make the sounds that, like the swish, swish, swish of the pants or whatever. And it's great. We actually got the benefit of seeing storytellers perform this one live when we went to a spooktacular event, and it was so wonderful. It was so great. We were all clapping along and swooshing along. It was great. Love this one. It's really good. Tumford the Terrible by Nancy Tillman. And this one is it's really charming, but it's very specific. So if you're having a child that doesn't like saying the I'm sorry or apologizing or runs and hides because they did something that they shouldn't have done, this is the book for you. Tumford, they call him Tummy for short, is the cutest little kitten, and he does not like saying I'm sorry. Instead, if he does something bad, which he always does, tracks paint across the floor, breaks stuff, you know, he gets into a lot of trouble. But instead of saying, oops, I'm sorry, can I help clean up? He says, ooh, and runs and hides. Poor Tummy. So his owners say, let's go take him to the fair. And you know what? He promises to be good, but he can't help it. So yeah, there's an incident. And you know what? Tumford actually does the right thing, and he comes back and he apologizes for, I'm not gonna give it away, for making a mess. And he feels so much better, and everybody applauds, and everybody is happy that he came back and that he apologized. So, Tumford, you did it, boy. You did it. To 3 left, and these are my favorites. These 3 are what inspired me to do this list. The other ones are great, but these 3 are the ones that are more for adults, well, and kids. But the messages are just, they're universal. All right, so this one, I'm sure you know what this one is. The Little Engine That Could. This is by Waddy Piper. And oh my gosh, this one was like my affirmations from when I was a kid. I used to say, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, in my head all the time when I was little. And I'm talking, 5, 6. I love this book. It's about a little blue engine, and she doesn't think she can make it up the hill. But you know what she does? she tries. And sometimes, even as adults, we need to have that little push to remember that we need to try and that we can do it. We won't know unless we actually try. I love this one because also at the end, the little blue engine says, I thought I could. I thought I could. I thought I could. She knows. She has built her confidence up, and now, not only does she think she can, she knew she could all along. It was all inside her. That and the illustrations are absolutely adorable. I mean, they're very classic. Let me find my favorite. I'm gonna find it for you guys because it's my favorite. Here they are. I love those smiling fruits, the oranges and apples. Oh, so if you haven't read or heard of the little blue, if you haven't heard of or read The Little Engine That Could, and you need somebody that needs to have some self-confidence, this is a great confidence builder. It's great for affirmations before affirmations even existed. I don't know. I love this book. Recommend it wholeheartedly. I'm never getting rid of it. When I'm feeling down, I will pull it out and read it. It's that good. Because no one else would help. It was up to the little blue engine because no one else would help. The snotty passenger car or passenger engine wouldn't pull him. The sooty coal one wouldn't do it. No one would help. It was just the little blue engine. She did it. All right. Okay, that one's gonna be my last one. This one is another one which is great, and I love it. And when I, myself, am going down a rabbit hole with worries and concerns, I pull out this book here. It is Thornton the Worrier by Marjorie Weinman Charmot, illustrated by Kay Corral, maybe? Not sure? Okay. I tried, guys. I really did. I love your book. Thank you for writing it and illustrating it. It's wonderful. So in this, we've got Thornton, and he's a bunny right here. This is Thornton with a T on his sweater. He worries a lot, and it's starting to affect his day-to-day life. It's affecting his relationship with his friends, so much so that they try to give him advice, and he tries their advice, and it doesn't work. And so he's got to figure out things for himself. So he decides to go for a walk. And on that walk, he meets a man. Well, on that walk, he sees a house. And this house does not look like it's safe. It is like a hazard waiting to happen. The house is tilting on the edge of a cliff. And he goes and he knocks on the door, and a man answers. And the man says, "Hi, how are you? Come on in. Why don't you have some tea?" And Thornton's like, your house is making sounds. Aren't you a little nervous? It's making me nervous. And you know what? This happy-go-lucky guy's like, I don't care. It just does that. My house just makes that noise. Sometimes it moves a little closer to the cliff, but it doesn't bother me. So you know what happens? Thornton saves the day. He saves the man before the house slides off the cliff. But you know what? It doesn't end there. Because Thornton's all like, where are you gonna live now, man? And man's just like, no, I'll figure it out. He doesn't have a worry at all. So Thornton returns to his friends. He says, bye, man. See you later. And he returns to his friends, and he tells his friends, that he met the man and about the house, because that's pretty exciting. That's something you're going to want to share. And then they ask him, oh, well, where's the man now? What's he going to do? And Thornton's all like, I have no idea. I better find out. So he goes on a walk and he finds the man, and he brings the man to his friends and he introduces everyone. And then you know what happens? Thornton helps the man build a new house. So Thornton has found something to do. And he's learned a very important lesson, that maybe we shouldn't worry so much, because it's friendship that matters, and things are gonna be okay. This man now has a whole bunch of new friends and a new house, and he lost everything. So, I know a lot of people like to quote Mr. Rogers when they say, look for the helpers during a natural disaster or an emotional disaster or a personal disaster, like, you know, say your house burned down. And that's great. But I love this book, and I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it for adults and children who are dealing with those thoughts, the worries. I mean, his worries are so mundane, like little things, like he's staring in the mirror and now his face looks weird. Now everybody's gone through that, where they just, well, maybe not everybody, but I have, where you're just like, huh, my face looks weird. And that can become a real worry. But when you read this book, hopefully it'll make you feel better. And that's what self-help really is trying to make yourself feel better. And these are some tools, some picture books that I recommend to help you work through things emotionally. All right, that was Thornton the Worrier. And my number one book is Sylvia Plath's The It Doesn't Matter Suit. It is illustrated by Rotraut Suzanne Berner. And it is my favorite book by far. It follows the Nix family, and this little guy here is Max. He's the youngest son of this big family called the Nixes. They live in a house up on a hill in the mountains, and it's full of boys and a mom and a dad. And one day a package arrives. So they are so excited. It's a big package and they're trying to figure out what's inside, and they open it up and it's a mustard yellow suit made of the finest wool, and it looks big enough to fit Papa. So Papa tries it on, and he's trying it on, and then he's thinking, and he gets to thinking, and he's like, nope, this suit isn't for me. So he passes it on to his eldest son, who is a little smaller than he is. And he tries it on, and he gets to thinking, while he's wearing it, trying it on, nope, doesn't fit me. It's not gonna work for me. It fits just fine, because Mama knows how to tailor, right? So he takes it off, gives it back to Mama, and the next son tries it on. He gets to thinking, nope, I can't wear it. And it goes on, and each adult and older son comes up with an excuse as to not wear the mustard suit. So they each have an individual fear. And then finally, little Max gets it, and he puts on the suit, and he does all the things that the older generations couldn't do. So he does all the fun stuff in his suit. And you know what? The town says, look, it's Max in his marvelous suit. His marvelous mustard yellow suit. And it's wonderful. I love this book for so many reasons, but my number one is the internal dialogue that the characters go through while they're convincing themselves not to wear the suit. It's just so real. I am going to read you one of them. So Hugo says, I shall wear the suit hunting tomorrow, he said. Hugo often went fox hunting in the forest above Winkleburg, for the foxes stole the plump Winkleburg chickens. He thought how it would be to wear a woolly, whiskery, brand new mustard yellow suit, fox hunting. Such a suit had never been seen before in all Winkleburg. What would the fox think? Perhaps the fox would just hide in a hole and laugh at him. The brass buttons would beam like lanterns from far off and warn the fox he was coming. All the other hunters wore checked and speckled suits, so the fox could not see them easily in the checked and speckled shade of the forest. None of them ever wore a mustard yellow suit. At last, Hugo sighed and said, I also am too big to wear a mustard yellow suit. So Sylvia Plath does this for each of the sons and the father, and does a separate internal dialogue, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, the father and 5 sons, and then the 6th son is Max, who actually does end up wearing the suit. But in each case, the son or father has the doubts of, maybe I shouldn't. I'm self-doubting myself. So that is why I absolutely love this book. It makes you believe in yourself, and then at the end, you'll see that Max does every single thing that his brothers and his father wanted to do. And he does it just fine wearing his mustard yellow suit. He catches that fox. And at the end of each one that he does, in bold print, it says, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter that he was in a yellow suit. It didn't matter. He didn't have any self-doubts. He knew that this was the most marvelous suit he could wear. And this book is just pure genius, and it's so heartfelt, it's so touching. You can see where the adult and the older children are just, oh, I'm so worried about peer pressure. I'm so worried about peer pressure and bullying, and I don't want to be different. I want to conform. I have to conform, otherwise I'm going to be weird. And it's just proof that it's okay to have something you love and to share that with the people in your neighborhood and find that community of people that are just weird just like you and love you for your weirdness. It's my favorite. I highly recommend if you're struggling with bullying, if you're struggling with self-doubt, if you're struggling with thoughts in your head that are second guessing yourself. There's just so many good things about this book that I love it. Thanks for watching. Please comment below. Tell me your favorite self-help books and what picture books that you absolutely adore, that had a special meaning and helped you get through a hard time in your life. And if you don't have any, then pick out one of the books that you would like to try to read from my list. And have you read any from my list? I'd love to hear it. And I'm Myriad Ginger. Creativity is contagious. Pass it on.